Convention. Paid board seat has been put forward by the committee. This is paid right here. And I'll take nominations from the floor for anyone else because we need a second person to be an alternate. And the one who gets the highest vote will be the delegate. The one who gets the next highest vote will be the alternate. Or you can do it any write-in names. Are there any other nominations for warden? Any other nominations for warden? You don't have to make one. You can write it in on yourself, by yourself if you like. But if you'd like to make one publicly on the floor, you may do so at this time. Any nominations for warden? Any other nominations for vestry? We do need to have at least one other nomination for delegate to convention. Yes, David.
I nominate myself.
Okay, David Weiser, okay. W-E-I-S-E-R, you can write that name down. David Weiser.
That's the vestry?
No. For delegate to convention. Is there a second delegate to convention? Anyone else? He's the person who goes to the diocese convention and votes on behalf of you all in voting for you for the whatever the diocese decides. It happens in November. Because we get charged on the amount of money that we actually net, not the amount of money that we gross, which is good. The amount of money we actually brought in was $36,000 for fundraising, of which we had $13,000 expenses. But that's really quite wonderful. You see that in outreach, we budgeted $2,500. We actually brought in $4,400. The building fund, we budgeted $12,000, and we actually brought in a little under $8,000. And the adult school brought in $2,217, which we had not budgeted at all. So actually, that money goes into fundraising. So we actually brought in almost $39,000 in fundraising by the time we finish everything, which is very, very respectable for a small parish. There are large parishes that don't do that type of return. The bad news, or I can't say bad news after today's sermon. The other news is the money that we spent, and there are no. So that's why that amount is lower than last year. If it comes in higher, we'll rejoice. Or it comes in the same, that's good. But I'm trying to be realistic. He pays $3,900 a month. See, fundraisers are up around $35,000. Seems like a lot of money, but I did present to the fundraising committee how I thought we could raise all that money, and we're well on our way to doing that. We've had 2 fundraisers, both of which have met the budget that we set for them. We have another one coming up this month at Edna's house. We know what the budget for that is, and if everybody signs up, we will make our budget for that. Thanks to Edna and her generosity. And then the next thing that's coming up, that we have coming up, in April, we're going to be doing another bingo night, actually May 2nd. And at the end of May, we'll be doing a play, where we hope to bring in about $10,000 worth of income. So that's what's coming up ahead. Yes?
Will auditions be held?
Auditions will be held.
When is the play?
The play is in May, the end of May and the first week in June.
What play is this going to be?
The play is called The Foreigner. It's by Larry Shue. No, it wasn't a movie. I've never made a movie out of it.
Yes.
It's about It's about a man who is a foreigner. He's not a foreigner. He's tired of living the life that he's living. He goes to a small southern town like Natchez, Mississippi, trying to get away from everybody, and it's so that nobody will bother him. He pretends like he doesn't speak English, which piques the interest of everybody in town who comes in to see the person who doesn't speak any English. Then the dullard in town, who everybody thinks is very, very stupid, tries to communicate with him, and the foreigner takes pity on him and starts to learn English from him. Within a week, he's learned to speak fluent English. And everybody in town then has to reconsider that guy may not be as dumb as they thought he was. It's a play about prejudices and preconceptions. Then what happens is when the Ku Klux Klan hears that there's a foreigner in town, they don't like that idea, so they come in town. It is a comedy, but it has a serious message about prejudice and tolerance. And I thought it was a great time to be able to present that. I've directed it before. I've also been in it. It's a wonderful, wonderful play. I think that every student in high school should be required to read it, and every college student should have to write a paper on it. It's that good of a play. But they should be in it.
Adults should act.
Yes. So we will have open auditions for that. That'll be in May. April, the auditions. That will be in May. So, basically speaking, we've come in with the same budget as last year, only reconfigured a little bit differently. Now I'll take your questions about 2009. Pete, you had a question?
Actually, I got a couple.
Okay, go on.
What's the rationale behind lowering the insurance its budget to less than the actual was last year?
Because in 2008, we paid part of 2007's bills and also 2009's, and I'm just trying to see if I can keep it realistic.
That's fine. Along those lines, your pension line, I assume the pension plan has, is it a fixed contribution?
Yes.
Okay, so I assume that the $15,000 budget in 2008 was the fixed contribution that should have been made.
Right.
And the contribution that was made was $8,000. I assume the $16,000 in the 2009 budget is the fixed contribution that should be made, right?
No.
Oh, well then,
It's what we can afford to pay out of the pension.
oh, so the
We're always
contribution to the
we're always
pensions
gonna
are
be-
going to continue to be
We're always going to be
behind.
behind, I'm sure.
Okay,
It's just a reality.
okay.
Although I would like it not to be true,
Right.
but it's just the reality. It's one of the things
Yes.
where we have some latitude.
Is that against the canons, though?
It's against the canons to let it go beyond 6 months behind, which we've not done. Yes, Susan.
Sorry that I missed the meeting last Sunday. I could have asked this on your discretionary fund, we needed to have quite a bit more than we budgeted for this year, and yet for the next year, you have budgeted a lot less. At a time where I'm afraid there's going to be some identified needs, so how do you actually do that?
Usually what happens with discretionary money is there is some money in the discretionary fund itself that the budget gives. But also, let's say that you said to me, I like to give some money, I just won the lotto, and I like to give $1,000 to you to use for a discretionary account. We put that into the discretionary line, which is what happened last year. Some people came across some money, decided they would like to contribute to it, especially because they have been beneficiaries of it in the past. We could put it into our outreach line, but they specifically asked it to go to the discretionary line. And because of that, it comes in and it upped the figure more than we had budgeted. And that will happen again. But we keep a base amount in, and people often contribute to it, and then the money that goes out against it is the money that's actually in there. So it's a net figure, it's not a gross figure. So the gross figure was actually much greater. Does that answer the question? Did everybody follow that?
Does that include when we made extra donations when we were asked to? Is that in there or is that in there?
No, it's an outreach. But some people just specifically want to give to the discretionary fund. The difference between outreach and discretionary is outreach means that the church decides where it goes. Discretion means I decide where it goes. When people come to me with a special need. If I need more money, then I sometimes will go to people in the parish and say, I have a special need. May I call upon you again to make a donation to the church on behalf of someone who you don't know at all. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but you have to trust me that I know that there's a need. That happens sometimes. Sometimes we take the money out of outreach. But discretionary is when we're trying to keep it on the QT, as my grandfather used to say, where there needs to be some pastoral discretion versus outreach where everybody knows where the money is going.
Right, my only point was that I think that probably going to be a greater need this next
It's possible, but if so, then I'll go to people, personally, or I'll ask people if they will make a special donation to the discretionary fund. But we just keep a base amount in there just so that I don't have to keep coming back for little things. Oftentimes, the discretionary money is when somebody comes to the door here and says, "I'm hungry. Can you give me some food?" And I say, "No." We do give them food if there's any in the food basket there. But if there isn't, then I often give them cash. And just knowing that they might spend it on anything, it's possible.
They usually do.
Yes, we can take a second offering sometimes. I remember when I was president of the Coalition for the Homeless and president of food pantries and soup kitchens, we got a lot of criticism. People would say, you know, that food you just gave that person, he went out and sold it to somebody on the street. I said, if somebody is desperate enough to buy food that somebody has gotten from a food pantry, it's getting to the right people. As far as I'm concerned. So, yes.
Yeah.
Other questions about the budget for 2009? All right, so seeing that there are no other questions, I'm going to ask for your vote to pass the budget for 2009, which means that you're committed, you're saying that you're committed to helping us raise the money in order to make it happen, which you all do anyway, by your personal presence. That's why your personal presence is so important. One of the things that really makes a big difference to us is that you come to church, as you can imagine, because when you're here, then we're able to do more. Also, when you're here, you bring your pledge in, which is also helpful. If you know you're going to be away for a long time, what would be helpful to us is if you're able to mail your pledge in. That's always helpful, or pay ahead of time if you're able to. We live week to week. There's just no doubt about it. We have bills we have not paid this week. But that's how it is in church. I've never known it another way. I wish I could tell you that I've been in rich parishes, but I never have. I've always had to sing for my supper. And the one thing that I want to make sure that you know is that I don't ask you to do anything that I'm not doing myself. When it comes to raising money, I'm out there out front. And a lot of other ministers do not do this. I know that. But a lot of other ministers don't have. I was listening to my colleagues at large fund and everything, and then saying they had to cut $100,000 out of their budget. I'd love to be able to cut $100,000 out of my budget. I'd love to have 10,000 I could cut out of the budget, but there's no money to cut out of the budget. So I'm asking you all to pass the budget, and but with the full realization that we're all in this together, and I'm leading the charge. I always want you to know and believe that I believe in you, and I want you to believe in me, and that we can do this together.
You're here. Good.
Yes.
Just two things. One, I don't know if the trustee would ever say this, but you should all know he tithes a large percentage or whatever percentage of his income to the church. And that's, you know, like he said, he wouldn't ask anybody to do anything he's not doing himself. And also, I know I have personal interest in the music program, so I realize it's fixed at what it is this year. But if we come upon better times, I'd like you to consider the wonderful job Eric has done and how the choir has just blossomed under his direction. To consider next year that be rewarded financially.
Chris, is that?
Just a suggestion to folks, because I know cash flow has been an issue in the church, is that a lot of us are doing electronic transfers these days to pay our bills, and what I do is every first of the month I just automatically send my pledge donation to the church, and it's mailed directly to the church. So I did it for the simple reason it was just easier than me thinking of writing a check or having my checkbook on me for every Sunday and just handing it in. So it's just another option that you can think about when you make your pledge each month.
One thing that Mimi said, I will take a second to reemphasize. You see what the pastor's stipend is there. It's right there. I do tithe my stipend. I give 10% of my salary back to the church. I do that because I believe that's what we're called to do. I wish everybody would do that, but I know that everybody cannot or is not at that place. But again, I would not ask you to do something that I'm not doing myself. And so, over $9,000 of the budget comes back to the parish of the money that I receive. And I say that not to embarrass anybody or to try to criticize anybody else's giving, but to let you know that, as I said, I'm right up front. I'm there. I'm doing it with you. I want to let you know that I believe in what we're doing together, and I'm hoping that you will get behind me and do what you can also. That's why I do it. So, is there a move to accept the budget?
Yes. Yes.
Second?
Seconded.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor of accepting the 2009 budget say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Thank you very much. That's all the business I have to bring before the annual meeting this morning. I want to tell you the results on the balloting.
Dum dum dum.
Yes. Yes, I will. Thank you. I did in my email, but not everybody's on email. I like to acknowledge those people who are leaving the vestry, but who will be missed, but we will find ways to keep them involved. Joanne Bartoli, who served 3 years as a vestry person and 2 years as warden. I think that this time, unlike the last time, I think that probably Joanne is looking forward to a little bit of a rest. I think that the last time that she went off for a little bit, she said, gosh, I'm not going to know what to do. I haven't heard her say that to me this time. I think that she has paved the way and helped make us a stronger vestry, and certainly we're going to give her a chance to have a little bit of a rest because she has other projects that she'd like to take home. So thank you very much, Joanne. Also, I want to thank Joe Caputo, Joan Kane, neither one of them who are here this morning, unfortunately, and John Finnegan, who is also going off the vestry for their work. As John will tell you, even though he's going on the vestry, it doesn't mean he will stop talking to you about the roof. Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
Okay, I didn't think so. And it's thanks to John that we've been able to do as well as we have. What was the total amount that you had on the roof for this? Do you want to give your report, Ms. Miller? Why don't you do that? Stand up.
Yep. It looked like I have a lot of stuff, but it won't be long. I won't be very long. First of all, we want to thank you for any and all money that you dedicated to the Raise the Roof Fund. This little envelope right here. And as I have marked in big letters, $1 or $2 a week would solve all of our problems as far as the roof is concerned. We raised $17,700 up to last Sunday. 15,000 of that was large gifts. A large gift is 1,000 or more, and that left us with $2,700 as a net, or as an extra, I guess you could call it. This week, I am going to order what's called a perpetual plaque. I'm going to pass this around so you'll see what a perpetual plaque is like. It is this plaque right here, which Rusty and I have worked on wording for the blank space up here. And then we will have 24 plates that can be put underneath. We already have 4. We have 4 persons who have donated 1,000 or more. And as they say, it's called a perpetual plaque. It will also have the Episcopal seal on it. And as I say, I'm going to pass this around so you can take a look at it for yourself. If you have any comments, we're both available in case we have the actual wording, and if you have any thoughts or comments or additions or subtractions, please feel free. Now, the other thing you should know about is that we have received an $8,000 loan from the diocese. The total amount that we took bids, if you remember, when we were trying to establish somebody who was going to do the work. And the low bid and the one that we accepted, and we're kind of happy about that because I think you'll agree with me that it looks very, very nice, the roof, and it's not yet finished. There are still some finishing touches on it. But anyway, the amount that we received a loan from the diocese of $8,000, and that's only about $106 a month, and it keeps going down. Instead of the 106 going up, the 106 keeps going down. So it isn't anything that is going to hurt us, but I ask you to please continue thinking of the $1 or $2 or more.
What's the interest rate on that loan?
We received an 8,006. We'll take questions.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Whatever you have a question, we'll take it. We also received an $8,640 outright grant from the diocese toward that $28,800. And then we have already paid $8,640 also from that $17,000. And it leaves us with a final $3,520 of the monies that we have raised. I will finish up by simply saying, a lot of you are homeowners, and maybe you're all homeowners, I don't know. But anytime that you undertake a project for your home, you know as well as I do that there are always extras added on when you take on any kind of a project, and we are going to have that also, because the painting will be done in the spring. I'm sure it's going to look gorgeous. That beautiful roof and paint job is going to make the church look beautiful. But there are always extras, and so whatever monies that you can donate will go toward those extras. And again, in finalizing my little talk, thank you so much for all you have given.
Thank you. The extras have already started coming in, even on the roof, even though the total amount that was projected was $28,000. When we got into the roof, there were some real issues that we weren't expecting. And we already have about $6,000 worth of overruns, where we had to replace a whole section of the plywood, which we weren't planning on doing, where we had to replace a whole section of roof, where we had to do some other, where we changed materials and so forth. So there's about $6,000, the total roof, where we thought it was going to be about $28,000. It's really going to be closer to $35,000 by the time we finish. We knew there were going to be overruns, we just weren't sure where they were going to be. But the diocese has been monitoring these very, very carefully. In addition to that, now, once we finish doing the roof part, we're actually going to switch gears and we're going to continue to raise money under the guise of a building fund, because we know that we want to paint the building. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to pay for a paint study to see what the original paint was, the color and all that. People say, gosh, why are we going to spend the money to do that? Well, if we don't do that, then we're not eligible for future monies with regard to restoration. We are presenting ourselves as a historical place, and we have to do certain things that are as part of that whole thing in order to get the future grants that we'd like to get. To do a paint study is going to be about $2,200, I believe. The diocese has already committed to us for a portion of that money. So they would pay about $1,000. So it would be very good for us to do it, and we'll raise the other money in other ways that we can. We also can get money from future grants to cover that based upon the fact that we did take that step. If we don't take that step, we're not eligible for any of the monies in restoration. That's just the way it goes. So we know that's something we're going to be doing.
Why would you not want to paint?
We do want to paint. The question is,
why would you not want to?
right. Well, some people may not, we do want to paint, but some people may not want to do the paint study, which costs money. They say, why spend $2,200 for a paint study? I can go out there and tell you what color it should be. People have already said that to me. And my retort to that is that we're doing it, we're playing by the rules in order so that we can get future monies. It's sort of like once you take, Peg and Kathy can probably tell you, once you take government monies, you have to do what the government says that you have to do with that money. You can't say, okay, he gave us money for toothbrushes, but we're going to buy razor blades. No, you got to buy toothbrushes. And so This is how it is, and we're going to be playing that game because there's a lot of interest from the restoration foundations in our building, and we want to be. And we've been told off the record that we are very eligible for many of the things that we like to do in the future. So we want to continue to do that. Yes, Steve.
Does that hamper us from what we thought of reconfiguring what the inside of the church was?
No, this is only for outside we're talking about. What's done on the inside is different, and what's done on the inside was never, it's not restoration. It's never been done with restoration in mind. Not with carpet,
Right.
not with black pews, painted, and so forth and so on.
Would this also prevent us from making it, if we do all this restoration and so on, do we have to meet ADA regulations now?
Only if we change the inside, which we probably are going to do, and so we'd like to be able to do that, but not for the outside.
Okay.
Because the outside is accessible in most cases, but the inside, that would be different.
Right.
ADA, American Disabilities Act. Dave was referring to. You can see that even just, I just want to say, you know, it's amazing that Scott and then Jeffrey, when he comes here and so forth, do as well as they do, but you can see that even just one step can prohibit people from having full access, just even one step. When I was in a wheelchair back in 1982, for that whole year, there was only one step to come into the church, just one. They said, but it's only one step. We can't see why you can't do that. I couldn't do the one step, just one step. And so we want to be able to have a place where everybody can have full access, and that's what we're going to work towards also when we start to do the inside. But, you know, that's a little bit down the road. Right now we're going to finish up what we're going to do on the outside, and we're going to paint the side of the building. We've already taken all the siding off. You know, Guy, one of the things I noticed in the bill that he gave us, he did not give us credit for any of the siding he took away.
Yeah, it's not.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kyle, Judy, and Michelle. Happy
Birthday to you. Yay.
Is there any other business to come before the annual meeting? I want to announce the results of the election. Okay, for Warden, Robin Anderson.
Wasn't as clean and clear as this is. I really respect that.
Thank you. There is nothing to hide. Thank you, President Obama. Thank you very much. Enjoy some more food.
Mass and annual meeting is over.